Let's get some more insight by speaking to a virologist with the African Center of Excellence for Genomics of Infectious Diseases at the Redeemers University. Professor Oyewale Tomori, who joins me from Abuja via Zoom. Thank you very much for joining us on World Now. For infections to have tanked from a peak of over 308,000 cases weekly at the start of the year to less than 20,000 in the week ending on April 10th, 2022. Is it safe to conclude that African countries are successfully flattening the curve?
No, thank you very much for this opportunity. I think we must be very, very careful. If you notice that there have been 3 or 4 waves that have occurred depending on which country you are coming in. In between each wave, you have anything like to 3 months to 4 months to 5 months, in which the numbers have dropped considerably. All we require is another variant to bring up another wave. So we're not over it yet. And we can see the example in China, that China, even though they put all these strict laws there, they are back to it. China has fewer cases, 167,000 than Nigeria, which are 250 something. But now they are back in the same situation. So we must be very careful. It's not over yet until it is over. And so long as the variants are coming up at different times, I think we're just getting a lull, and opportunities are coming for the virus to come back again, in terms of new variants, in terms of gathering together, maybe during holidays like Easter or some of that nature. So we should be wary, and we shouldn't throw away all our precautions into the wind.
Well, despite the decreasing infections, do you think it's still important, just like you're saying, for countries to remain that vigilant and maintain surveillance measures? In what exact way do you think this should be done?
I think, you find in other countries where this have happened, part of the error, even Europe now, the cases are coming up. When you have the preventive measures, like wearing your mask and all that, it will certainly be modified by the epidemiology of the disease. If you are finding a lot of cases all around your place, you want to be sure that everybody has his mask on everywhere he goes. But when the numbers goes down, then you have to target those areas where you are likely to transmit the infection. Mass gatherings, churches, mosques, big centers where people are holding big meetings, offices, conference centers. And those are areas where you want to target and ensure that you still continue to maintain those preventive measures. We continue to wash our hands. But maybe when you get into the open, you can say, yeah, maybe not that much. But more importantly, the number of your people that are vaccinated makes all the difference. Those countries in Europe and others can afford to do what they're doing because they have a large number of their people vaccinated. But here, we have less than 10% of our population. So we must be very, very careful and not just throw all the preventive measures to the wind. We must target those areas where we're likely to spread the disease and focus and continue to make use of those preventive measures, wearing of masks, washing of hands, creating the spaces.
Yeah, to understand this very well, for clarity, is with the cold season approaching in the southern hemisphere in June through August, is there still a high risk of another wave of new infections?
Of course. I mean, what comes with the cold season is that people tend to congregate more. You are in your houses, you stay together, people are not outside mainly. So the virus does better when people are very close to each other under that very condition. So if you are within your house, in a group of people, many people are not vaccinated, you don't know who is carrying the virus, especially in an age group where the younger people are showing asymptomatic infection, which means they don't show they are sick, but they have it, and they can transmit infection to you. Only those people who are vaccinated, have the chance of, we're not saying they're not even going to get infected, but the chances of their infection becoming severe disease or hospitalization is very, very much reduced. So the thing is, get vaccinated.
What has been your observation so far, looking at the way people now carry themselves? Is there a reflection of people who have not learned any lessons from this virus?
From day one, we are very slow to learn, but even when we learn, we forget quickly. And I think you can see it obviously. Even the time when the epidemic was at its peak, you still have people who I want to say don't care about their life, who think that COVID is a matter for the government. COVID is not a matter for the government. COVID is a matter for the individual. You have to protect yourself. And the government will not die from COVID. It's that individual who dies. Therefore, the most important person in COVID control is that individual. And if you take it lightly, like a lot of people have died. I mean, we have 250 something that we say, 2,000 or so people, 3,000 that have died in the country, over 250 infected. And that's a tip of the iceberg, because we're not even testing as much. Our data is not something, not something you want to rely on. I say each of the data we get, people say take with a pinch of salt. I say in Nigeria, take our data with a bag of salt, because it is incomplete and it doesn't come on time, it is not timely. And so our people must realize that there's still a danger all over the place. And let me give you one good example. You remember polio? People said polio is over.
Yeah.
But you know, Malawi got a case of polio 17 years after they had the last case. So long as there's a case in any part of the world, we are still vulnerable.
Makes sense. Well, we'll continue to have this conversation and see how the whole thing is going to happen, because at the end of the day, we want to be sure whether we are prepared for future pandemics such as this COVID-19. A virologist with the African Center of Excellence for Genomics of Infectious Disease at the Redeemers University, Professor Oyewale Tomori, thank you so much for your time.
It is my pleasure. Thank you very much.